monkey around.
Hello everybody, my name is Chef Rob. Today we are going to make a fruit galette, and it's a pick your own fruit galette because you can use peaches, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, any of those berries. Any of the ones that are very, very juicy, like such as peaches or strawberries. When we get to the cornstarch part, you may want to add about another half tablespoon of cornstarch if they are very juicy fruits. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is take our dry ingredients. And we're going to take 1.5 cups of the all-purpose flour. Just kind of spoon it in there and level that off. And we're just going to put it right into the basin of the food processor. And again, just level that right off. Going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just add that right in here. We're just going to turn this on just for a minute, just to kind of mix all of the ingredients. Okay, now we're going to take this very, very cold butter. So if you took your butter out earlier, go get other butter. You want it to be very cold. You want to cut this into at least 9 pieces, if not more. And you're going to just drop it right on top of the flour mixture. Fruit galettes are so good. You can do so many different recipes with this one. You can do apples come the fall. The berries are so good. And I'm just going to cut this other one up right here. So we have 9 tablespoons. So that is 1 stick and a tablespoon of butter. You're just going to pulse this just until you get nice coarse crumbs. If you do have a little bit of butter left in there, that is okay. But you want to get most of it out. So nice coarse crumbs right here. I'm going to add in 6 tablespoons of sour cream. Use the whole fat sour cream. You will get better results with this. And I have this already measured out, so I am just going to drop this all right into the food processor. Now you could do this all by hand if you don't have a food processor. Okay, just maybe take a box grater with the butter and grate it that way. So we're just going to turn this back on, and I just want it to get to where it kind of resembles, again, coarse crumbs. Okay, and it starts getting a little bit sticky. Okay, so it's a wet, sticky dough. Let me just take this off here. This is what it's going to look like. But when you get to start working the dough a little bit, you're going to find that it's going to come together really, really nicely. We're going to form this into a dough, into a ball, and we're going to put it into plastic wrap and let it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes, maybe even 45-50 minutes. So get everything off here. Now your dough should come just like this, where you could take the dough and kind of squeeze it together just like that, okay? So I'm going to put this into a bowl. So kind of have a medium to a large bowl handy. This way you don't get all the flour and ingredients all over your work surface. Make sure you get everything out. I have my plastic wrap right here. So I'm just going to form this into a ball. But you could see just by kind of squeezing this dough together, it's perfect, this dough. This is exactly the way you want it. So it is very cold right now, but we want it to be even colder, and that's why we are going to refrigerate it for about 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm just going to drop it right onto the plastic wrap, and I'm just going to flatten it into a disc. So kind of just bring it in just like this. And now you can press down on it. The thinner you make it, the colder it will get quicker. And the sooner you will be able to make your galette. Now while this is in the refrigerator, we are going to prepare the fruit filling for it. And then in just a few minutes we'll turn on the oven to 400 degrees. Okay, so it should look just like this. Okay, while our galette crust is chilling, we're going to prepare the fruit filling. Now you can use from 1 to 1.5 pounds of fresh fruit. So I'm using a combination of blackberries, which I'm going to put in the bowl, some raspberries. Since summer is here and the fruit is so good, I want to get that real nice combination. And some blueberries. Again, in between a pound to a pound and a half of berries. So we're just going to leave that. The strawberries, I am just going to cut up into small little pieces, little slices, I should say. Add that right in there. Again, going over the mixture that you're going to put in here. Typically the recipe would be 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. Cornstarch just kind of makes all that liquid just nice and thick and syrupy. And if you're going to add the wet fruit, add a little bit more cornstarch to it. Okay, so that is good just like that. Okay, make sure you wash these and just pat them dry. I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of the granulated sugar. Sprinkle that right on our berries right here. I want 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. So just kind of roll that just a little bit. About 1/2 of a lemon, maybe even a little bit less you would need. Just kind of squeeze it right through your fingers. Catch any of the juice. The lemon really makes these berries stand out really well. You want 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, so that is just a little bit, and it just brings out those berry flavors. And now I am gonna, because there's strawberries in here, I am putting 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch. And that will just give it a nice, thicker, syrupy fruit pie filling for the galette. So we're just going to toss this, and we're just going to let this on the side. Okay, while this is on the side, we can get our egg wash all ready. So when the dough is ready to be rolled out, we can kind of put this all together really quick. A galette is very quick, very easy to make. So for the egg wash, just take 1 whole egg, and I just have just a little bit of water in here, about 2 teaspoons of water. Take a pastry brush, okay, and just kind of break up the egg with the water. And then you can have on the side either some regular granulated sugar or some of this coarse sugar. The raw turbinado sugar. Okay, just adds a nice little crunch to the outside of the galette. Also have ready just about a tablespoon and a half of butter. Okay, because we're going to dot the fruit with it. So we're going to turn the oven on to 400, because a 400 degree oven takes a little while to get to that temperature. You also want to have a pan with some parchment paper. I really recommend using the parchment paper over the silicone baking mat for this dish, just because if any of the liquid kind of gets over here and it bakes on here, a 400 degree oven for about 30-35 minutes could make cleanup a little tough. So today we're not going to use this one. We are going to take the parchment paper and just kind of fit it along the pan. And you could take a scissor and just kind of cut along here. So our galette dough has been chilling for about 40 minutes, nice and cold. I am just going to lightly dust the top of it and lightly dust the work surface, whatever you may be using. Nice and solid. Have a rolling pin ready to go. Okay, and we're just going to gently be working this dough out. And we're going to get this into about a 12 to 13 inch disc. And then you can just kind of either turn the dough or your cutting board if that's what you're working on. So in a minute we are going to take some of the egg wash, and don't use it all because you're going to need some for the end too. But we are going to brush all of this right here, and that will prevent your pie dough from getting soggy when you put the berries and you are baking on it. This is a really, really good dough. It will come out perfect with this galette here. It's not going to completely cover all the berries, but a galette you are showing a lot of the berries too. Okay, so you can gently take it. Sometimes you can take it right off of your rolling pin, but you can also just kind of slide it just like that. Okay. We're going to take, again, just a little bit of the egg wash, but you're going to brush everywhere, because the berries are going to pretty much hit everywhere, whether it's on the top or the bottom. This is going to bake in the 400-degree oven, so at this point you would want to have your oven turned on to 400 degrees, and it would be about 30-35 minutes. You could put it towards the take the lowest rack and move it up one notch, and you could put a piece of aluminum foil on the rack above to prevent it from getting too dark too quickly. And as you kind of look at it during cooking, you'll be able to see if you want to take that foil away. So we're just going to give these berries one last toss. Okay, just make sure everything is together. You're going to put these all in the center, just like this. And remember, peach season, peaches will be great in here, apples as well, and you can always change it around with adding a little bit of cinnamon when you're doing apples. These are the berries, and these are going to be really, really good. So now I'm just going to take the dough and bring it in. Okay, again, it's not going to cover everywhere, and you really do want to have parchment paper. So we're just going to kind of leave that little opening right there. We're just bringing this dough in here, and it really makes for a really nice presentation if you're having guests over or you're making a special night. Let's take the egg wash. Again, you probably won't even need to use all of it. And we are just going to brush all of the outside of this. And this is optional, where if you want to put granulated sugar, just a little sprinkling, or a sprinkling of the turbinado sugar. I'm using the turbinado sugar. I just like the way it kind of gives it just a little bit of a crunch to it. Just a little bit. A little different texture. So this is going to go in the 400-degree oven, 30-35 minutes. Keep an eye on it, maybe around 22-25 minutes. Just take a peek at it, but close that oven pretty quickly because you don't want the temperature to change too much. So we're just going to lightly dust this with the sugar like that. And we're going to put this right into the oven, and we will check back. Actually, we have to, and this is optional as well, but if you like a little bit of a kind of creaminess into the berries, just about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half, just kind of dotted right on top right here. That will give it a nice creaminess. So I suggest doing that. 400-degree oven, 30-35 minutes. So this took exactly 35 minutes in the 400-degree oven. I did put a sheet of aluminum foil on the rack above just to prevent it from getting too dark. I took the sheet of aluminum foil away The last probably about 6-7 minutes, and it finished off giving it a nice golden brown, as you see right here. It's a really nice flaky crust, and with the turbinado sugar, it is excellent. So you want to let this cool for about 25 to 30 minutes before you do slice it. I'm just going to put this onto a platter so you can see how beautiful this actually looks. And you can always put different berries around here, little mint leaves to make it look really beautiful. And when this cools, you could take a pizza cutter and cut it, or a regular knife to cut it. And it's a beautiful pie. Use any type of berry you want with it. And enjoy this, and enjoy your summer. Bye-bye.